Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the Worldview Bros, and here is episode 3 of the Pixar Rankings. If you haven't been keeping up, go back and listen to episode 1 and episode 2, where we get together with our very first guest ever, Dylan Duell, one of my best friends, talking about Pixar, all the great movies, how great the franchise is, and just ranking them and giving our scores on them. So here we go. Enjoy episode 3 of the Pixar Rankings. Okay, here we go. In 2013, 12, I flipped them here on my paper. In 2012, Pixar released Brave. Who wants to start this one?
I'll start this. I'll just read my review. I didn't see this one in theaters, as it didn't grab me as a must-watch. There's kind of an unoriginal mother-daughter relationship story in the center of it. They go about it in a creative way that creates some laughs. And then I knocked it on animation because a lot of the ridiculously animated secondary characters kind of drew that back for me.
Yeah.
But I've watched this several times. You know, my daughter likes it. It's another one. It's not bad. You know, it's just solid. You know, it's touching because the mom and daughter eventually improve their relationship, but there's nothing stand out about this compared to other Pixar films.
I'll end this one, so Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, it doesn't rank super great for me. I have it at number 12. I have 38 points. I honestly, guys, don't pay attention to my animation scores. Like, I put a 10 on animation because it was just like very visually appealing to me. I remember thinking about her hair.
I put an 8.
That's a standout for that.
I put an 8.
So I'm like, oh man, freaking Pixar's.
That was the highest
game,
for me.
You know? Yeah.
Animation was the highest.
But I think the story is not complex enough.
No.
It seems like it seems kind of promising, and you're absolutely right, Dylan. Like I think the relationship with the mother and the daughter is pretty interesting. It's pretty cool. Some funny stuff like when she's a bear, you know, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that was funny.
That's really it. Like the story falls flat. I think it kind of falls flat a bit.
Here's the thing for me. I punished this story. This is the most like. It was the biggest letdown in my opinion. It's the biggest letdown in the Pixar movies.
That's right.
Because
it's a big
you're
hype.
Coming off of Cars 2, right? That's terrible. When in the next year you see, I remember seeing the previews to Brave, and I'm like,
whoa,
this is gonna be one of the best movies ever. Like it's gonna be so good. Like,
that's right.
You know, and I love Scottish heritage. I love the accents. I love the history. I love this time.
Sure.
So good. I was so excited about it, you know. And it just was a huge letdown. I don't even care that she turned into a bear, and that's like, and just the weird like the wisp thing, like that made no sense. And then like getting like I don't know, it just was not interesting to me at all. The coolest thing was that she was a good archer. Like that was the coolest thing to the movie, and like it wasn't funny. Like they didn't do a good job at being funny. The little kids were okay, you know. The dad was kind of over the top, and that's kind of funny, you know. But I don't know. It was really poor on creativity for me, and because they could have done so much more. It could have been way better, and because of its roots and you know, I think they were just really. It seemed like they were they'd had all these ideas. And they just kind of put them all in, and they're like, "Oh, we have to bounce back from Cars 2, so let's get this going." And I don't know, it just wasn't. They didn't do a good job.
We thought it was going to be a tier 1, and it's like a tier 2 or 3.
Yeah, I punished this. This is number 19 for me, guys. Wow. I mean, that's how devastated I was with how bad it was.
It's 12 for me, but there are a few that I didn't see, so.
Right. Okay.
Down far enough.
Any more thoughts on this one?
Nah, let's keep going.
Okay, so in 2013, Pixar released Monsters University. Michael Rinstra's favorite movie.
Yeah, I'll go first. This is one of my lowest ones. Hang on, wait. Do I have this I have this at the very bottom.
Really?
I have it at the very bottom. Wow. Funny, quotable, 5. I mean, I don't. No, not really. Creative, 6. Original, 7. Touching, 5, animation 8.
Yeah.
Man, super forgettable. I mean, you guys will have to remind me a little bit about it. I mean, why are we investing to see like what they did in college?
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
It just like we kind of already know the end game. Like you have to give me something more interesting. This is not interesting enough.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it was interesting because it was like it just kind of brought you more into the world of the monsters. I do think the things that were kind of overrated and stupid was the whole like fraternity stuff.
It's like the whole movie basically.
Yeah. So I think it could have been better. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like I'm just trying to come up with something
It's gimmicky. They're just, oh yeah, let's look at this part of the monster universe in college. Oh.
Yeah.
I don't have too much to say about it. It's not bad.
It's low for me
it's
too.
Fine, you know, but like
it's number 18, right? Below Brave for me.
I think I put it at like number 16 or 17. I mentioned earlier like the way that Toy Story is always able to answer like why do we need to make another one of these so well. This one it came out 12 years after the original. When I heard they were making a new one, I'm like, why? Are people asking for that?
Yeah.
And this comes in a stretch of Pixar films. There's Cars 2. Okay, no, wait.
I was going to say, yeah.
Toy Story 3 sequel, Cars 2 sequel, Brave original, Monsters University sequel.
Yeah.
And for a while, Pixar didn't have any sequels, you know, besides Toy Story 2 because it was following Toy Story.
Right.
Which had to have a sequel. But, yeah, there's nothing that special about this movie. And there's good voice acting in it. Again, Billy Crystal and John Goodman are good chemistry, even if they're not technically acting together, you know.
That's what saved it for me, honestly.
Yeah.
Sure. I feel like it's the rain shadow of this like golden age that we just had with those great movies a little bit ago.
Yeah.
That's enough for me.
So I think that's enough for me. Besides the fact that this year, another heavy hitter year, Frozen came out this year, 2013. The Croods, which is one of my favorite. I love The Croods.
Animation's off-putting for me.
I know, but it's so funny. Oh my gosh, and the stories. It's touching too.
What's the name of the guy?
Ryan
Grug?
Reynolds.
No.
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
Oh, he's really good
Nicolas
in it.
Cage can be like terrible in a movie or just perfect in a movie.
Yeah, and he's perfect in
like
this.
Yeah,
and actually, this is one of the more touching DreamWorks. Like this is where they take a step into that. They dip their feet into this touching thing.
Yeah.
Of this, you know, the guy, like his family dies and he finds tomorrow and the sunshine and all that.
I think it's a
great movie. Gosh, I love that movie. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2 came out. Number 2, yeah. Turbo came out this year. Despicable Me 2 came out. Let's see. Nothing else really.
Okay.
Yeah. So here we go. Interesting. There's a couple of gaps, you know.
Yeah.
Most of the time they're cranking them out every year. I think I skipped maybe one of the gaps where they go like, there's the 1999. There's nothing in 2000 that came out. But here's the 2-year gap of movies. It's not till 2015 now that Pixar releases Inside Out. I think they kind of were like, let's gather ourselves and come out with something real good.
The production periods on these films is forever.
Yeah.
So when Inside Out comes out in 2015, they probably are starting development on it, like when Up comes out in 2009.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know. Mm-hmm. So it's, and if you guys ever have time, some of the production backstories on a lot of these movies are really fascinating.
Really,
especially on the Toy Story sequels of just you know how much time they put into like considering what the story will even be because it has to be right. You know. And there, what I find we don't have to discuss it later. I'll just bring it up now while I'm talking about it. Like Toy Story 4, there's this whole, again, it's a 9-year gap in between 3 and 4.
Yeah.
There was a whole screenplay written by Rashida Jones, you know, who plays Karen on The Office.
Yeah.
And they just didn't like it. So she put in all this work and they scrap it and they just try again and they came up with what it ended up being. But and there's this whole other Pixar movie named Newt that was pretty far along and then just got canceled because it ended up being pretty similar to the storyline of Rio.
Oh,
and
okay.
They must have just not felt strongly enough about it to go
That's
forward.
when you know you have like an awesome.
That's a freaking franchise, right?
Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah, I love that. Like, and I guess while we're on it too, I mean, it's just like they didn't go back to that. They haven't explored the like why are the toys able to be alive? And I think that's a terrible movie. I think that could be a really bad movie, and you can tell that they've taken their time to make it right. You're right. So let's get into Inside Out. Here we go. Dylan, you want to start Inside Out?
Okay. Yeah. I didn't walk out of this movie thinking like that was an instant classic, like a lot of people might have, because I remember it was very, very highly regarded. But it's improved in my mind as I've watched it since then, and I can recognize all the nuance to it. Certainly very emotional. It's a movie based around emotions. It's really colorful and creative, just like the whole concept of this world going on inside our head and stuff like that. And the real world animation in this movie is starting to get to the next level that we're used to seeing today. Like the people look like people, really good. I love the cast. Amy Poehler, of course, is great. Bill Hader, I think, is hilarious. I love that Phyllis from The Office, who pretty much hasn't done any other acting.
She's perfect.
She's so good. She's just being herself. And just, but yeah, I guess the scene that everybody remembers is, what's the name of the elephant? Bappo?
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Something like that.
We forget. But, I mean, it's a really powerful scene where he lets himself go, knowing that he'll be forgotten. And that's really good. And it's really good, I have it as nines on touching, original, and creative.
Yeah, me
I
too.
don't find it especially funny. I put it at 6 on funny.
I put 7 because there are some funny parts. I feel like in the beginning when they're like, Amy Poehler's like introducing all the different like emotions. Like there's a brain freeze and they're all like, they all freeze up and stuff.
What I'll say about this one, there's like, laughs,
Sure.
Yeah.
That's funny. I'll acknowledge that's funny. Yeah. Whereas, like Finding Nemo, I quote that because it's hilarious to me.
That's true.
This one is, and a lot more in recent Pixar movies. It's like, that's clever. But I'm not laughing. Really.
To follow that line, there's a fine line between funny and gimmicky. Yeah. And this is right on that line.
Totally.
So that's why I kind of struggle to really get on board. To me, this is like barely a tier 1 Pixar. It's barely
me too.
A tier 1 Pixar.
It's a number 11 for me.
I don't have it as particularly funny, and just exactly what Dylan said.
Yeah.
But I gave it a 10 for creative, but a 8 for original. But I think really my points were essentially the same as Dylan. I do enjoy it, but and it does kind of grow on you. Like when I came out of the movie theater, I was like, I don't know if I'm really on board. But then you kind of watch it a second time, and you're like, that's pretty great.
Yeah. No, I think I mostly agree with you guys. I did see some more like kind of funny-ish parts. Like I thought it was kind of funny, like when anger came up, and one of his quotes is like,
funniest parts.
like one of the quotes, he's like, did he just say no dessert? All right, pal. He comes up here and he's like, And so I thought that was pretty. Like his parts were probably the funniest parts.
Yeah.
But overall, I think everything else I pretty much agree with you guys. In 2015, the things that came out this year were Minions came out. The Good Dinosaur, which is we're getting to next, it came out the same year. That tells you how bad.
5 months later.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't do that very often.
The Peanuts movie, nothing really much came out. So it's another reason why the animation was so high for me as well.
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens? Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, let's not even go there.
Is that 2015? Yeah, that's 2015.
Yeah, 2015.
2017, 20.
Too depressed to think about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't really have much else to say about that. I do think the cast is good. I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm sure this is one that plenty of people have at like number 1.
Sure, exactly. It can be. You can go one way or another.
Yeah, but they're not doing like a whole podcast on it. If they did, maybe they would see how good some of these other ones are. All right, so while we're on it, 2015, they also come out with The Good Dinosaur, and
I said negative 2 million because I never saw it, I
I
sometimes forget that it even exists. Like, at least I know that Cars 2 is a thing because there's Cars 1 and 3.
Well, here's the thing: if my son didn't like it,
this movie happened.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
If my son didn't like it so much, I would be thinking the same thing.
You've seen it.
I've seen
Okay.
it. I've seen it like 10 times. I've seen this movie so many times, and every time I'm like, this is so bad.
Dang! Wow.
Gosh, it's so bad. There's like a tripping part. They eat these berries, and it's too much. Like you've already seen dinosaurs be lost. Like The Land Before Time. That's already come out.
Yeah, it's hard territory. It's
like check it out,
territory.
guys. Like this is how for the funny, I put 5. It's not funny. You know, like this was my total score is a 28 on this. A 28 was the
28.
So
What's
I
your
put
score on this?
Wow,
yes.
that's low.
So I put 5 on funny because there are some funny parts, you know. But 5 is, but not really, you know. 4 for creativity. Like we've already seen Lost Dinosaurs before. The dinosaurs look better at this point.
This came out the same year as Jurassic World too, so that's a lot of pressure on dinosaur animation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then original story 4 as well. I will say this is weird. The touchy part, the most touching part, I put an 8 because the dinosaur does lose his dad, and it's really, really sad.
Oh, I thought it was because the dinosaur turned out to be good.
I know the name is terrible too. So that's the only redeeming thing. It was kind of touchy, you know. And
that's not necessarily
the animation,
original, though, in animated films.
Yeah, exactly. And then the animation's actually pretty cool as far as the landscaping and stuff. But like another stupid thing I didn't like is that T-Rexes. It's like this movie's all over the place. It's like they took all these really like pieces of like different ideas and put it all together. It's it's very like kind of Lion King-ish like too, where the dad dies and then he goes off in an adventure and finds himself, but it's just not as good, you know. I don't know. I know I'm spending too much time on it, but they make the T-Rexes like they're like as if they're like they heard like other they're like cowboys. The T-Rexes are cowboys, and then it's the main T-Rex is the voice of the guy. What's his name with a mustache? He's got the really deep voice. I forget his name, but I love that actor. But anyways, so I don't know. It's just there's a lot of stupid things. I wanted to talk about how stupid it was. Sorry. So
we can't agree with you because we haven't seen it.
So exactly, I know. I'm just telling you guys and preaching to those who have seen it. So. All right, so that's enough with the Good Dinosaur. You guys don't have anything else because you didn't do your homework and watch it, you little
my bad.
bastardos. So here we go. And
a couple more sequels coming up.
Yeah, and
this is where I.
We're running
I'm
real
a little
long now.
I know. I'm a little shamefaced here. I have not seen Finding Dory.
Hold on, hey, I was gonna do the intro. Come on, man. In
gosh,
2016,
okay,
Pixar
We're only
released.
2 hours and 10 minutes in. Give him time for his introduction.
In 2016, who's gonna watch this? Us. Or listen to this, I mean. In 2016, Pixar released.
We can make it several
parts?
episodes.
Yeah, that's true.
We actually should.
Yeah.
We actually
yeah.
should.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So in 2016, Pixar released Finding Dory. Here we go. I'm going to start this one. It's an 8 on funny, guys. This is actually pretty darn funny because it's, if you thought she was so funny in the first one, and she's not even the main character, she's the main character here. And Dory is just awesome. I even wrote a note here. It's so funny. There's like little quotes that are like, she's looking for open ocean, and she's like, yeah, so we're looking for soap and lotion. And then they're like, open ocean. And she's like, oh, yeah, and that way we're going to go to the locomotion, open ocean. Like, I mean, the banter between her and all the characters are amazing. I put a 9 on animation because actually,
so did I.
The fact that they made the freaking octopus to work is it was one of the biggest. It's one of the biggest milestones of Pixar animation. And they talk about that in this video that I watched that you guys should watch. It's really awesome. And because the way that an octopus moves is so weird. It's like really, It's really like I don't know, mechanical.
Yeah.
And
I think I watched that video too. It's real complicated.
Yeah, it's just really crazy. And I thought it was also another funny part is like when they go through like the part in the aquarium where the kids are touching all the like the crabs and all that stuff, and they're afraid to go. Like, that's hilarious. That's funny. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought it was creative in that sense, but I think where it kind of fails a little bit. I guess it's touchy. You know, it is touching that she's trying to find her family and stuff where she's from, and she can't remember things. So, but it just wasn't enough for me, I guess. And then the original story, like it's essentially almost very similar to the first one where they're going off into this adventure. Yeah. And then Marlin and Nemo are kind of like
just background.
They're just background. Like like they should have made the movie was just Dory. Somehow just make it Dory. Yeah, but they had to have Marlin and Nemo there. Huh. And I'll stop talking and let you guys talk more about it. Go ahead, Dylan.
I was disappointed because obviously I hold Finding Nemo in really high regards.
Yeah.
Like you said, the animation is incredible. There's some fun new characters and really good voice acting with Ed O'Neill and Ty Burrell from Modern Family, who everybody loves. I thought the emotional moments were really forced. As far as like I feel like Finding Nemo stumbled into the emotional moments. Yeah. Whereas this one is like, we are gonna hit people in the heartstrings.
Yeah, that's why it was a problem for me.
You're right. With me.
That's what it is.
And then the climactic scene is just ridiculous
with the car and stuff. Oh gosh, that's dumb.
It's one of the few times in a Pixar movie where you have to think about what you think about all the time in superhero movies. Like, how many people are dying right now because of this possible destruction that's just entertaining us? Mm-hmm. And now there's like fish just swerving across a major freeway in a truck and stuff. Yeah. I just I'm able to just suspend my belief or whatever. But at that time I was like, what's going on here? It might be fitting where you say how sometimes shows jump the shark. That would be fitting with a fish movie, of course.
I remember seeing that part of the movie, even though I haven't really seen the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's like, I think some other funny parts are like when she's in the bucket with all the dead fish and she's trying to talk to all the like bait. She's like, "What are you guys doing?" You know, and so she's like, you know, like there's a lot of really funny things. Yeah. But I agree with you that it was kind of a letdown compared to the first one. Were you done?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not bad. You know, it stands high compared to Minions. You know? Right. But exactly. It just compared to other Pixar movies, it's just not as good. It was a huge box office success because there was just so much anticipation for it and familiarity, and they, like you said, it's not that much different from the original. All they did was change one word in the title. Yeah. But yeah,
and it's not like it's Finding Nemo 2. You know, it's Finding Dory. Like, cool. Yeah, it's better than Good Dinosaur, right? The Good Dinosaur. So.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I remember Dora went to see it, and she said she liked it okay, but you know.
Yeah. There will be other ones where like you said you haven't seen it, and I'll like urge you to see it. Mm-hmm. You don't have to see this one. Yeah. Set this one out.
Mm-hmm. In 2016, this was kind of a heavy hitter-ish year. I think so. Yeah, no, definitely. There's some really good movies. Moana came out in 2016.
Greatness.
What?
Greatness. I love Moana.
Yeah, the music's really good in it. Yeah, I love it's a good one. Sing came out this year. I love Sing.
DreamWorks gimmicky.
Yeah.
Not as good, but
it's
fun.
Yeah, it's fun. The soundtrack's fun. Like sing along and all that stuff.
Insane voice cast.
Trolls came out. You know.
I'm not a big fan of Trolls.
Really interesting.
I don't see it.
Yeah, it's okay for me. I think it's got its funny parts.
Seems like an excuse to sell toys because they're literally based on toys. An excuse to sell soundtracks.
Yeah, you know, that's true.
With just cover songs sung by Justin Timberlake. Yeah. And Anna Kendrick. You know? And that's weak to me. Sausage Party, I see there. Classic animated film.
Which one?
Sausage Party.
It's like the incredibly R-rated animated film.
Yeah, it's so weird. Zootopia came out this year.
I love Zootopia.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Mixed on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's it's
I felt
simple,
it was pretty
but
timely.
it's really cool.
Yeah.
It came a couple years.
The only thing is like, what do the predators eat?
Yeah.
Where do they
there's
get their
some,
food?
What if questions
Yeah.
in that.
But Secret Life of Pets, I love that movie.
Yeah,
Secret
it's
Life
funny.
of Pets is so funny.
It's funny.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
Really good voice cast.
Great music in it. There was a lot of movies came out this year. Angry Birds, the movie came out. Gosh, a lot of movies.
Yeah, I can't be persuaded to watch a lot of animated movies.
Yeah,
Certainly.
the third Kung Fu Panda came out this year too.
Oh,
All right, so any more thoughts on Finding Dory?
no.
Okay, here we go. In 2017, Pixar released Cars 3. All right, so you guys haven't seen it,
I
right?
have not.
When I originally made this list, I hadn't seen it, but like I said, Isaac's become obsessed with
Oh,
Cars.
so you
I've
have seen it
Cars
now.
3 now.
Okay, so do you want to start it then?
Yeah, I'll just
Go ahead.
give real brief thoughts on it. It's fine. It's just merchandising, sales. They introduce a couple of new main characters
Yeah.
who are different and could sell more toys. I think it's a decent story for a third installment as far as like entering new issues into the equation. You see Lightning McQueen on the latter stages
Being the
of his
older.
career. But it's not great. But the animation is really good. It's
Yeah.
just like really
Yeah.
sleek and
Yeah.
stylish
Oh, wow.
and stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
really colorful.
Very.
But yeah, all that I know is just hearing it constantly.
Yeah.
My son's been watching it.
Yeah.
Watching it so much
Yeah.
these last few months when we're just at home all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it seems fine.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, to give background, Jim. I don't know. Do you know anything about it?
Nothing.
So it's basically this should have been Cars 2.
Right.
Oh.
Cars 2 shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
This should have been Cars 2. And it's basically Lightning McQueen. The beginning of it is Lightning McQueen winning a ton. It's like
Okay.
it's like they
But
basically
being a good guy. and
they
just
make it
being a
obvious.
good
Yeah,
teammate and stuff
they
like
they
that.
make it obvious that Cars 2 was terrible and they shouldn't have done it.
Right, they don't even reference it. Like
Yeah, not at all.
Mater's
They
like
don't
barely comes up in this movie.
Exactly.
Complete retcon.
Oh yeah, it's so obvious. So like he's winning a whole bunch, and then all of a sudden new like cars around him start like retiring, and then new cars come in all of a sudden, and then he has this huge like wreck and stuff, and then he tries to make a comeback,
Okay.
and he ends up actually then training his trainer, because his trainer wants to become his new trainer wants to become a race car.
Is this kind of like is Iron Man still Iron Man kind of thing?
Yeah. Now, I will say I gave it a little high on touching because they do reference, what's his name?
Doc
The
Hudson.
Hornet, Doc Hudson, and he ends up wearing his like
Paint job.
decals and stuff of Doc Hudson, and he becomes a coach.
Oh.
So
They
that's,
mentioned that Doc Hudson dies,
yeah.
which is basically because Paul Newman, the actor, died.
Mm-hmm.
And then there becomes the question, like, how do these cars die?
Exactly. Yeah.
If they go through these insane crashes
Uh-huh.
and they're okay, then how do they die?
Exactly.
Fell into a car wreck.
How are
place,
they
yeah.
born? Does Lightning McQueen just appear out of nowhere as a superstar racer? Like,
Yeah.
I don't have much more to say about it. Like
I guess it was decently received by critics. It wasn't panned or anything like
Yeah.
Cars,
Okay.
like Cars 2 was.
And 2017, this is another year where two of them came out.
Oh.
And it's going to lead into my favorite one. I will say real quick, 2017, Boss Baby came out. Despicable Me 3 came out. Emoji Movie that Eli loved. Oh my
Really?
gosh. Eli loved Emoji Movie that came
Isaac
out.
saw like 5 seconds of the other day,
Uh-huh.
and he seemed intrigued by it because
Yeah.
it's emojis and
Emojis,
it was the scene
uh-huh.
where it was poop emojis,
Yeah.
and he wanted to watch it, but I told him no.
Yeah.
I put my foot down because
Yeah.
I just know how horrible that movie's supposed to be.
Yeah, no, I regret letting him watch it.
The idea of Emoji Movie represents everything I hate in life.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It's one of my low moments as a father. The Lego Batman movie came out.
I think
That was
movie's
a good
hilarious.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
Captain
well written.
Underpants came out. Yeah, I know. I agree. I thought the Batman one was really, really, really good. No Malone is actually a Netflix one that's actually pretty good. You guys should check it out.
Is it like a play on Romeo and Juliet or whatever?
No, it doesn't really ish in the fact that like these gnomes are like the protectors of a house. You guys just should check it out.
It's a whole franchise of let's play off.
But it's not one of those. It's not off of those. But here we go, guys. 2017, Pixar released in the same year that they released Cars 3. They also released my favorite one, Coco. Coco was number one, like by far. Like it was, I scored a 48 on this one.
Wow.
And then the next thing was 45.
Coco was number one for me too.
So just real quick, I think I gave the funny actually was a 7.
Yeah,
it was not very funny.
Yeah.
Like, and then I gave it a creativity. I gave it a 10, and then it was a 9 on original story, 10 on touching, and 10 on animation. I mean, it was. I mean, I just was like
10 animation.
Oh, because just the beautiful visuals of just the flowers.
Yeah.
Especially whenever
they're walking across the bridge.
Yeah.
Like the trickiness that had to be.
Exactly. And then when they give the blessings and it lights up and stuff. Like, it's super cool. I mean, and just like the fact that it's the heritage of it is beautiful, and I think it kind of gives light to the cool, not the dark side of Dia de los Muertos, but the cool like familial side that I really love, and that it kind of enlightened me a little bit, because I remember growing up, for us, like it was like I always thought it was the weirdest tradition, and it seemed so dark.
Right.
But it's actually really cool and really uplifting. And I'm telling you guys, like, I cried at the end because this song.
Everybody did.
This song,
Dude, just hearing this song, like, you can put it on now and I'll start tearing up.
Yeah.
Because I think about my son, Like,
It's so cool. I mean, like, just the way that we're connected as a family and the importance of family. Especially in the Hispanic heritage, it really was a highlight and an anthem for that, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that in our Mexican heritage. Like, I think that's like, especially now, like with everything that's going on nowadays. Like, I think people need to see the strength of family and come together, and and when we grow up with our families, educating our families, and just really coming closer, and not only that song, but guys, even the very last song, the "Ay mi familia," like that, like just coming together, it just was so cool, and just the idea. I'll let you guys talk, and I'm so passionate about this movie because it covers all the Pixar stuff, but it also is it's just. I don't know. It's just really, really good.
No, I just want to add to your thought that it's that that there is a connection between you and your really old grandma. You think that you're like completely separate. Like, oh, what does she have to do with me, right?
Yeah.
And then you realize, oh my gosh, you're a part of something greater than myself. You're a part of my family, and I have so much to learn from you.
Yeah.
I think that's very beautiful. I guess I'll go second. I mean, it is one of my favorite Pixar movies, but I don't have it nearly at number 1. I mean, obviously at touching, I have it at 9. That could be a 10. I mean, of course I'm in tears at the end, guys.
Yeah.
But I think that I just have some that are just kind of that I like better. I think the story for me is lacking a little bit. It's a cool story. But I think that I see some cooler elements in some of the other movies. I have it overall ranked at number 7 in the scoring, and it's probably around there on my gut as well.
Yeah.
But beautiful movie, beautiful.
Yeah.
Dylan? Yeah, I mean, I'm similar to you. This movie means a lot to me. I'm half Hispanic, and I would say that my connection to the Hispanic side of my family isn't as close and as anything represented in this movie, or even what I see from spending time around you guys.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry I didn't allude to you on that too. All three of us can make that connection.
That's no problem. But what hits me so hard is learning about the closeness of family in the Hispanic culture that, the average person just doesn't really know about or realize. And being married to my wife, who came here when she was like 3 years old, and she hasn't seen. The way she paints her picture of her family in Mexico, it's really familiar to Miguel's family in Coco. Of just working hard people who all live together.
Yeah.
And to see that represented on film in a highly successful box office film is really important. And I don't want to be political about it, but for it to come out when it did, a year into the presidency of a guy who hasn't exactly made his love for the Hispanics very clear, I think that was a really important timing too, to paint that culture in a positive light.
Yeah.
Whenever they were kind of being crapped upon in mainstream regular day life, it's just really emotional. And then I don't know, I the way it touched me so much is not necessarily because of my closeness to that, but my sympathy for my wife, who hasn't seen her family in 20 plus years in person.
Yeah.
And to imagine her feelings, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
And of course the last 10 minutes with Mama Coco remembering and the playing of the song, every time I watch that scene, it makes me well up into it. It can be the first time, it can be the 100th time, because earlier in quarantine, Isaac was watching this like every day. It's just insanely powerful and I think important. And I hope they don't do a sequel, because I don't think that they could. They couldn't match.
No way.
What
would you even do?
But again, and then the animation is it's stunning. It's beautiful. And like, this is another movie that, like, if DreamWorks or somebody tried to do this, all they would do is rely upon the gimmicks of skeletons and dead people, like arms falling off and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why the funny parts aren't really that funny, because they're all kind of gimmicky. I
don't have it.
That's the only thing. Like, it would have probably been up at 48 or whatever for me if it was funnier. But everything else is a 9 or 10. But I mean, that's.
Yeah, I think there are parts that are kind of like, not necessarily funny, but even culturally kind of like it's still, like you said, gimmicky, but not to where it's like stupid. Yeah. Like, she gets like the chancla, and she's like, she comes and hits the dude and stuff, and and like little things like just like all the food and stuff, the ofrendas and just, I don't know, just really funny stuff. I actually wanted to say, Dylan, too, I think part of what makes us good friends is that the closeness of your family is very similar to the closeness of our family, and I think that's something that you bring to your family that I bring to my family. And like we go long stretches of not even saying hi to each other or seeing each other. Yeah. We live in the same town, but when we do,
there was like a several year stretch where like we lived pretty much as close as you guys did.
Oh,
yeah.
But like we never saw each other.
Exactly. but it doesn't matter though, because I think it's very clear that we grew up with that same like unconditional love and closeness that I think the Hispanic heritage, Mexican heritage, that really brings out. So I don't know. I agree with you that this highlights so many awesome things about that in this movie. And guys, I think because I'm such a music person, I have so much fun.
That's what takes it over the top for you.
Banger
after
That's
why it's your number one.
It's my number one. It's 100%. It takes over the top. I mean, like, like just even the song that they sing in the talent show, like that's super cool.
Yeah,
like, oh my gosh, like you should see Eli like too, and he's like the like he just goes nuts.
It's funny. Picture a little blonde, white-skinned Eli doing that.
I don't know. It's just I don't know. I just really, really like this movie, and
it's one of the greats.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So here we go. Let's move on.
Just 3 more.
So in 2018, Pixar released Incredibles 2. I'll go ahead and start with this one. It was a letdown. This was, I didn't punish it as much as Brave. It wasn't as much of a letdown, but it still was a letdown in the sense, I don't know. The highest score is probably animation because the people are awesome in it now. They like really, really improved it from the first one. You can really see even to the small details of like the freckles on the faces and the way the hair moves and everything. And of course, they've gone through so many movies now that they're able to do that.
Sure.
The funniest, the funny part is probably the next highest for me. So I put a 9 on animation. I put 8 on funny. Because like seeing Mr. Incredible becoming like the stay-at-home dad was kind of funny.
Yeah,
him trying to figure out like math is math. Why does it change? You know, and all this stuff.
Of course, that's on the trailer, and it's like the kind of like the funniest part.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and then like Jack fighting with the raccoon's pretty funny too. That's really funny. Like, there's a lot of really.
Jack, dude,
it's so great. You know, he's like, you have powers. Honestly, I think where they went wrong is like there's a huge time gap between the two movies, and then they made it to where it was right after. It's the same day. I think the movie is on the same day that the first one ends, and I don't know. Like, it just seemed like the plots are very kind of similar in the sense that. You know, the parents are in trouble and the kids come and like join them and stuff. And I don't know. It just seemed like it could have been better. I don't know. Maybe you guys can shed light on what you think could have been better. Like how it could have been better. I don't know what Incredibles 2 could look to really be this in the top tier of these Pixar movies, but it's definitely not for me. It's number 13. Tied with Finding Dory
I have
with
it
me.
as 13.
Yeah. Dylan, you want to go next?
Yeah. What do you think, Dylan?
I have it as 11. Yeah, I like it more than the first Incredibles.
Oh, dude, you're breaking my heart here, man. Come on.
Right. And this movie it came out on like June 15th or something like. It's just summer blockbuster fun.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't hold a candle emotionally to any of the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was pretty low on me.
But the animation, like you said, is just. It's like a totally different world compared to the first movie.
Yeah.
So I gave it props for that. And again, it's just fun entertainment, you know. As far as I think it came out in 2018, you know, right a couple months after Infinity War came out, you know, and in the midst of the Marvel Renaissance. So, we have this other property of ours that's Disney and superheroes. Why don't we just go ahead and try that again?
Sure.
You know, this one there is no Toy Story equivalent of like. There's a reason why we need to tell this new story.
Yeah.
It's not really there,
you
know,
go.
but it's not bad. Again,
it's
it's not bad. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's got laughs. The animation's better, but it doesn't have that emotional punch, and it's just not quite there with everything else.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I think the story's lacking. I think the villain is pretty interesting. You know, I think Syndrome is an interesting villain.
Yeah.
And I think the villain here is pretty interesting too. Like the sister of the guy who you think is
going to be the bad guy.
typically the bad guy. And the whole thing about, you know, mind control and stuff like that with the devices, right? Like technology. You know, there's you can dig a little bit and find something interesting, but it doesn't really grip me. You know, I don't know.
The voice of Slippin' Jimmy, actually.
Oh, I love that guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's what's his name from
Better Call Saul.
from Better Call Saul. I don't know his name.
Okay, yeah, Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah, I go to you for that.
I'm
Awesome
good
at
with
that.
names and stuff.
Yeah.
And your memory.
Yeah,
So, anyways.
it's not resonating super well with me. You know, it's just.
I haven't rewatched it since I initially saw it.
Yeah.
I do need to watch it again.
I've watched it 3 times now, I think. But yeah, it's probably one of the ones I haven't seen as much. I had to watch the highlight reel a couple hours ago.
Out of all the movies we've discussed, this
You mean
is
when
like,
we started
man,
this
I need to.
podcast a couple hours ago?
Oh yeah, exactly, or whatever. Several hours
This is
ago.
probably number 1 on my list to rewatch. You know, I feel like there's some little nuggets there that I can try to
there are.
extract a little bit.
The only thing that's kind of it gets old is that, like, you know how in the first one, like Mr. Incredible is the one who kind of relives the glory days, right?
Oh, right.
And then in this one, it's like they just switch. Then it's
Yeah.
Elastic Girl. She gets to live the glory days. So that's kind of like, it's like the same idea, you know?
Yeah.
And that's where I just think it could have been better. I feel like they could have easily just done like another one on like...
That's my point. This could have just been better.
Yeah.
it should have been
But
better.
because it's Pixar, it's good enough to just float by on mediocre, mediocre premise.
No.
But they're good enough in other ways too.
Yeah, that's why I'm a little I'm nervous and excited and nervous on Soul. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know.
It seems really ambitious.
It does, you know, but only
Who knows
Pixar
if
could
we'll
pull it
ever
off.
see it, 'cause they're not going to put it on Disney Plus. They spent too much money.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
no
It's
way.
probably, I think they have serious Academy Award aspirations for it.
Oh,
wow.
totally.
So they're
Yeah.
not going to just put it out on Disney
Yeah.
Plus.
Oh, I
No.
see, I
Yeah,
see.
for sure. All right. Any more thoughts on what were we just? Oh wait, I
else
did
came
want to
out that
say
year?
what came out
Oh,
that
right.
year. 2018. So that year, Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse came out.
Oh,
That was
cool.
a great
That's
movie.
a cool movie.
Gosh, that was a
Yeah.
good movie. Hotel Transylvania 3.
See, that's just like the antithesis of Pixar.
Yeah.
Hotel Transylvania.
Exactly. Yeah. Ralph Breaks the Internet, which is just a
One of the
letdown.
worst movies.
Really?
Man. I hate that.
I don't think it's.
It was
I
really
watched it
gimmicky
again,
with
Jim.
like
exactly, dude.
internet jokes and stuff like
Oh,
that.
YouTube. Oh,
Yeah.
But
What the hell?
I like the Ralph and Vanellope story. That resonates with me.
It's a little creepy.
Really?
It's a little
No,
creepy.
I don't find there's not like one stroke of romance there to me at all.
I
It's
feel
just-
like the
it's
creep
complete-
factor came in the second movie.
Really?
A little bit.
Yeah, he's like, "You want to go to Tappers with me?" You're like, "Oh, I got stood up."
Oh,
Like,
really?
it's really weird. Like, she
Yeah,
was
I
supposed to
didn't catch
come,
it
you know,
like
but she
that,
didn't
but-
come. You know.
The first one is better for sure.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, the first one is
I love the first
incredible.
one. I
It's
love
so
the
good. They should have stayed in the arcade. Like, you don't have to go to the internet.
You gotta make
Like,
it bigger and better. I'm a sequel always.
I don't know.
I thought it was bad.
not
Yeah,
necessarily
so I don't know what else came out. Next gen, Smallfoot. That was a letdown.
Smallfoot, that was weird.
Yeah, the Grinch, the Grinch.
Isaac loves the.
That's a good one. Yeah,
animated
Eli
Grinch.
loves that movie. Yeah. Not much else really. There's they put on here like the Pixar like short films that come out and stuff.
What was the what? Oh God, do you guys remember seeing going back to Coco, freaking Frozen 25-minute short film?
Oh, that was
before
stupid.
Coco?
Oh, right.
I can't even see Coco, not a half-hour Frozen.
Yeah.
I
right.
know that was the
Yeah.
dumbest thing. I was like, "What is
And then
this?"
the one before Incredibles 2, I think, was the Bow one about the little dumpling and the
Yeah,
Asian
that's
mom.
2018. Yeah, right here.
That one was
About-
really good.
Yeah,
It's
that one was
interesting.
good.
It's cool.
Yeah. Oh, I like the one before the Toy Story one. I think the one before Toy Story, all the sporting equipment.
Oh yeah, I know.
What's
the
that one called? Like
Like
it's
in
all
the playground.
yeah, and he
Yeah.
gets taken and stuff.
Yeah,
like it's
that's
I don't know.
cool.
That's a really
like
cool
that
one. Something I was gonna say. We missed when Wreck-It Ralph came out. That was 2016, and that was up against whatever. What was that? 2016 Cars or something.
The original record
Cars
off was
3?
2012.
Oh, 12?
Yeah,
Oh, then what was that up against then in 2012?
2012.
Brave.
Brave.
Yeah.
that's
I forgot
Came
to
out a few
mention
months
that.
after.
Wreck-It
Yeah.
Ralph is really cool.
Anyways, okay, here we go. Almost to the end, guys. We you know,
It's flown
this
by.
has been fun.
We're so fast and efficient.
Honestly,
It's
Dylan,
been
this
fun.
is how like every
Right.
time it is for us. Like
Right.
we go super late. I just didn't want to tell you, and you'd be like,
I'm
"Oh,
so sorry,
nah."
Dylan.
I-
Yeah.
No, it's fun. I'm enjoying it. Well, I'll pay for it when I wake up in
Yeah.
5 hours. But this
Oh
has
my
been fun
gosh.
in the meantime.
Talking to grown men talking about animated films.
Cartoon movies.
All right, here we go. So in 2019, just last year, Pixar released Toy Story 4. We've already been talking about it already before it came
you
to
guys
it.
can like hit me right now, like in the little one of these,
Yeah.
the head.
Why? Because you haven't seen it,
I haven't
right?
seen it, dude.
Exactly.
I was
This
gonna
dude,
I was
this
gonna
dude
try to
is
watch
an
it
idiot.
today.
Like, yeah, but you're an idiot. Like, we've been talking about how great every single one of these is standalone, and when it came out, you're like, "Oh, 4? They don't even have 4."
I mean, it
You
was
just-
a fair claim because, like,
They've given you every
Dude,
every reason
Toy
to go watch
Story
it.
3 is my number 3 movie. How dare you come out with Toy Story 4?
I get it, but they've shown you every single
have
one
to
is
trust
good.
But I understand. I should go and watch. I understand.
So this was a 9s all the way down the list for me. So this is a 45. Like it's yeah, but it's tied with Onward, Toy Story 2, Wall-E.
Tied with Onward. Oh, we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Yeah, I loved it. But Toy Story 4, guys, is so funny. It's so funny. There's a lot of really, really
That's
funny
what Dora
things in it.
says. It's hilarious.
It's just hilarious. Like all the way from, just kind of like Buzz Lightyear, like they basically make his buttons like his conscience, and they help him make decisions and stuff. That to like Forky, like I thought that was creative.
I understand
like-
Forky steals the show.
Forky
Yeah.
is like
It's another thing that like if anyone
No,
anyone
you're good,
else,
you're good.
tried to make Forky work, it's just like what are they doing?
It's
But
dumb.
it's Pixar
exactly,
and it works,
Yeah, and like she makes this. It's the idea of like making a toy that these kids in kindergarten make, and then it comes to life. And when you watch it, I don't want to give it away too much for you, but like it's so funny. Like Forky at first when he like comes to life in front of all the toys, he's like trash, trash. That's all he knows. And the first night he's there, like she loves her new Forky toy, and like Woody's literally trying to like keep him out of the trash. He keeps going into the trash and stuff. It's just so funny. Like I don't know. There's a lot of other funny things that I can't think of that you just have to wait and see. It's just really funny.
I was planning on watching it today. I'll watch
Yeah.
it soon.
Dylan.
I give this one I gave it 41 overall. It's tied with Toy Story 2. No, actually no, it's tied with Toy Story 3. But just like my gut feeling, I put it over Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
I don't remember as much funny stuff. I mean, I've seen it a few times, but like what struck me, like I was crying at the beginning of this movie. I was crying at the end of this
Yeah,
movie.
I was gonna save this part for you.
Like I'll speak to you about this. Like sitting, I don't know if did you see this at the theater with Eli?
Yeah.
Like sitting next to your son, and then for me, I have a daughter as well.
Uh-huh.
Soaking in this movie that's part of a franchise that first started before I can even remember seeing movies in the movie theater. Like that's emotional, man.
Yeah, man.
And the way it starts with "You've Got a Friend in Me," or actually, it starts with like a really emotional scene with Bo Peep, which is incredibly well animated.
Yeah.
With the random stuff. But then it goes into "You've Got a Friend in Me" thing. And that just like hits you right here.
Like, just
We're
throw
right
it
back. We're right back here with these people that we trust to give us a really good story and a good time.
Wow.
And then I guess if we don't want to spoil the movie for Jim, we can't. But man, it just tore me apart.
Yeah, like we can't tell you the end.
Okay,
we just can't tell you.
Okay.
But what I can say is that if there's a perfect or really good template for what a fourth movie should be, when there could have just ended at 3, this is it.
Oh wow.
Like this is it, because like it's a world without Andy. Andy is gone.
They face the issues and the questions that they have to face. To be realistic and
it's just incredible. And I wish we could talk about the end. I won't fault you for that, Jim.
No, hey,
But
I mean,
really
dude,
good.
we're here talking about Pixar. Like, there's a reason for that. These guys freaking are good at this crap, right?
Yeah, totally.
it's insane. The amount of my daughter called me out. I'm like, "Are you crying?" Yes, I am. Yes,
Totally. Yeah.
And then
both. You're so right. Both the beginning and the ending.
Yeah.
It's just like wow. Like
and it's just incredible that even the name Toy Story 4. You're like, what?
Yeah, what?
There's a fourth one?
Yeah.
Like in 20 years, people will look back and be like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
But then you watch it and you're like, there's absolutely a reason why they did this.
Yeah.
And they did it to perfection. Like,
wow.
Like Sal was saying earlier, like there's usually peaks and valleys with franchises, but it's just straight
every
amazing
single one
all across the board.
And like I put a 9 on animation. You could easily put a 10, because on this video of the animation that I keep going back to, they show the difference between the freaking dog in the first one and the cat. There's a cat in Toy Story 4, and it looks real.
Wow.
Like freaking
they
real.
obviously were thinking
the
about
hair.
That.
Yeah, the hair and it's
just
stretching.
like little particles coming off the cat.
Off the like
Oh,
the
like
light
the dandruff
like the
kinda
light
thing?
particles
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
And like
Like,
when you're close on people's face, like they have like insane detail.
yeah.
Or like even like the thread on
Yeah.
Woody's.
and the shininess of Bo Peep
yeah.
is
it's
completely
totally different.
it's so good.
She doesn't
like
even
a
look
shiny
like-
toy.
Like she's porcelain. She's actually
right?
porcelain.
Yeah, yeah,
She didn't even look like the same character.
No,
Just
not
because
at all.
they
Like she's
updated
completely
Of
different.
course,
the animation
It's more
so
cool
much.
and there's like there's the classic like Toy Story stuff in it, like all the acrobatic stuff, you know. And
Yeah.
Bo Peep kind of steals the show in that sense.
So
and she
Bo
co-
Peep is important in
Yeah,
this
she's a
movie.
Oh, she
prominent
comes
role.
back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So sorry, I guess that's a little bit of a giveaway,
that's
but
fine.
not too much.
Mhm.
No, it's the ending.
She's
that we
like
don't wanna
she
give
doesn't
away.
really have much of a role in the other movies.
Yeah.
So
She's-
yeah, no, because it's like she's gone. So that's they explain like why she's back in the beginning of the movie, and you'll see what happens to her and
But
stuff.
I found it interesting just how, like, this is Woody's movie, you know?
Yeah.
And Buzz Lightyear's kind of just a background figure.
Yeah,
And pretty much all the other characters are too, besides a couple new ones. There's a villain. It's not like Lotso, who's actually legitimately like evil
Yeah,
or whatever. It's not a big deal. It's not the most important aspect of the movie, but she's redeemed in a way at the end, and that's really touching as well. But yeah, it's again, I just can't get over how there's a legitimate reason to make this fourth film, and it's just as good or better as everyone.
yeah.
before.
I have it ahead of Toy Story 3 on mine. So Toy Story 4 is my number 5 on my list.
So what I'm hearing from you guys is this kind of an unusual movie because it's like it's a perfect fit as like a closing movie to a story.
Yeah, and you're right. Like if anyone else tried to do a fourth movie, it would probably really suck.
Yeah.
But freaking these guys just
And
hit
like I
it on
told
the
you
nail,
guys, like
man.
they had ideas for this one, and there's like a 9-year gap.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Like
They toyed with it a
They went
lot.
through different things,
Okay.
you know,
Wow.
to get to this, and it's a good thing that they did because they just nailed it on the head.
Yeah, agreed. So here we go. The last one, guys. We've made it. Was there any more on 4 for you? Okay. I was trying to think if there's anything else besides. Oh, I did want to say what came out. So in 2019, real fast, the things that came out with it. Frozen 2 came out. That's a whole nother thing there. I actually
Well, let's
really
not
like
even go
Frozen
there
2.
right
I
now.
actually
real quick,
really
I
like
just
Frozen
saw the
2.
Lion King on there. Like going back to like that feeling of nostalgia and emotion that I felt at the beginning of Toy Story. Like it's insane how little of that I felt during the Lion King.
Yeah.
Like it's like during the Lion King, you're like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like how did they?
It's the same movie.
Yeah, literally, it's the same thing.
But
and,
the
like,
voice, like you just
the voice acting was horrible in that. But it's just insane of how well Toy Story is able to do that, and just literally almost right from the bat in the Lion King, I was like,
like oh
You
gosh,
know?
yeah, totally.
And
That-
that was probably my favorite animated movie growing up, The Lion King, of course.
Yeah.
And I was so excited to share that same, because those movies literally came out like a month apart.
Yeah,
To think of the run that Disney had in
Yeah.
2019 with Endgame, with The Lion King, with Toy Story 4.
Wow.
And some
Yeah.
other things. That's just
That's
so
crazy,
much money.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, just for the misstep that was The Lion King, it's really disappointing.
Nothing really came out much like that was that good. Like Abominable came out.
I never saw that.
Yeah, me either. The like quadrillionth How to Train a Dragon came out.
That one's pretty good.
The Hidden World or Homecoming. I don't know. 2 of them
The
came
Hidden
out.
World.
The Hidden World. Then Secret Life of Pets 2 was not as good. Sadly, that came out. Dumbo, I guess, but that wasn't really
Live
animated.
action.
Wonder Park, guys. If y'all have you seen Wonder Park?
I have not.
Guys, it's really really good. Wonder Park is kind of a hidden gem. Klaus.
It's not a sequel or anything, so it kind of fell under.
Right.
It fell under the.
I know exactly,
Oh,
but y'all should check it out. It really is.
Okay.
You know, have your kids watch it. It's awesome. Eli loves it. We saw it in the movies.
It's on Hulu.
The only
I think.
weird thing. Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh wow. I didn't know
So
that.
it's
That's
available to watch
that's
over
cool.
and over.
Yeah, right. But no, I that's a great movie. The only weird thing is that they never call it Wonder Park in the movie. The name of it's actually Wonderland.
Oh, that's weird.
And it's the weirdest thing. I tried looking it up.
They just forgot.
Yeah, like there's nothing about it saying like that. Like I thought maybe it was like they had trademark on Wonderland from somewhere or something. Right. I couldn't find it. But the other thing, Klaus is a Netflix movie that
I've heard
came
a lot
out.
of good things about
That was really good. Really? It's all centered around this postman who gets sent to the North Pole.
Huh.
And he basically, him and this guy who becomes Santa Claus start up the tradition and stuff, and he helps him kind of turn into Santa Claus, and he helps him. He's a postman who kind of is like from a wealthy family, you know.
Good Christmas movie.
It's awesome.
Wow,
I loved it. Klaus was really good. So those two are little gems, Wonder Park and Klaus. Okay, anyways, let's move on to the last one, guys. In 2020, this year, the crazy 2020.
This year? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. So
March
much has happened.
6th,
March
like
6th.
A week before everything just went crazy.
Yeah. And it didn't remember we didn't watch it in theaters. We watched it on Disney Plus, man.
I saw it in theaters.
Oh, you saw it in theaters?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it was.
We didn't watch it in theaters.
We definitely wanted to get out that first weekend, but we just didn't. And little did we know that was our last chance.
Yeah,
right,
the Mavericks game was the last thing I did when the whole world found out about the NBA. So, anyways, 2020 Onward came out. That's the movie we're talking about. Now
I'll go first.
Yeah, you go ahead.
So this is, from what I've kind of seen, a lot of people will say it's like a tier 2 movie. It's like a tier 2 movie. For me, it's a tier 1.
It's 100% the tier 1 for me.
I like it.
Number 4 for me. What about you?
I recognize that the plot needs a little more. The plot is a little simple. It needs a little bit more complexity. But I mean, on the touching, I have it at 10.
10. Me too.
And I'll just say, I can tell because
we should all feel it's touching.
Well, I don't have an older brother.
Yeah,
so
I realized that too.
The feeling between you guys would connect.
And I mean, dude, I'm Mr. like Magic the Gathering over here. How am I not gonna love this movie?
Chris Pratt is just gold, dude. I freaking love him.
I mean, I give it a high score on funny. Now, still with the whole ranking, it comes out at number 5. Okay, I have 8 on funny. That could be a 9. Creative 8, original 7. So I am punishing the story.
I almost did.
It needs a little bit more depth to the story. So I'm with you there. But just in intangibles, I just like it. I just like it. Number 5 on the system, and I think it's around there also, just overall for me.
Yeah.
I love it, dude. I was just gonna say how funny, like with his van, dude.
That's the funniest part. Oh my gosh, what's her name again? What's the name of it? Guinevere. Yeah. And then like the music, and it's like in the air, like, oh god,
dude, that makes
and all the parking tickets like are flying out of it. It's so funny. Dylan, what do you have to say about it?
All right, so it's hard to grade this one because it's so recent.
Yeah, I had to watch the highlight reel too.
The staying power, quote unquote, and it's different because the experience of seeing a movie on your couch versus in the movie theater and experiencing it with other people is just totally different. Yeah. Again, I like this movie. I thought it was really solid. I would more agree with that. It's kind of like a tier 2 one. I have it as number 13 on my list. You mentioned like gimmicky and funny. Like the first 15 minutes of this movie is just being cute about how like this fantasy world is similar to the real world in these weird ways.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then once it gets going, the story is fun.
It was kind of funny though when he's like, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but he's like,
it's funny.
The fire, and then all of a sudden he's like flips the switch, and he's like.
It's funny, but like I feel like Pixar should be above that.
Yeah.
Anytime a road trip movie's on, it's always a good formula for fun. The last 20 minutes when they come to their realizations are really touching. It made me well up and stuff. it goes in that way. It kind of went in a way I didn't expect it to go.
Yeah.
Emotionally. But yeah, I mean, it's solid all around, and it's kind of unfortunate that it's gonna be forgotten, really, because it had a week of theatrical run before being relegated to a streaming movie, which in a few years that might not be a big deal, but it's still like there's streaming, straight to streaming movies, and then there's theatrical movies. Eventually, it might be like even. Yeah. But it's just never going to be on the same level.
It's going to have that bittersweet. It's going to have that bittersweet
right.
part
and
to it.
For no fault of its own.
Yeah.
It just happened to be released at this time. You know.
You're right. The one thing I will say when we get to what's come out, it's going to be far superior to what's come out. You know, because the only other things really is like
we only
the
have 3
Scooby
months worth of
Trolls World Tour.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Huh?
There's only 3 months worth of 2020 film.
Exactly. But who knows what is going to be good that's going to come out right now? You know,
as far as animated films,
we've seen previews of Tenet for the last 6 months.
Yeah, it might have already came out based on the premise of the movie.
I love freaking Christopher Nolan.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I guess I should say the animation was really cool. It was a 9 for me. The dragon from like the school and stuff was, from the buildings was awesome, really and just like, I cried, guys. Like me being the younger brother, you guys are both the older brothers, and I mean, not to be too mushy or anything, Jim, but like,
I know.
I mean, you're one of my best friends, but also like we've had different moments in our lives where I hated your guts at one point. Then you were like a mentor, to me, and still are to me, but also at the level of friend, and just the, like, I mean, I love our dad. He's awesome. Pop is great, and he, he's amazing. I'm not saying that he's not, But I feel like there's a lot that I can relate in that sense of that I've learned from you that I haven't really learned from him. That just the symbolism of that was huge. Yeah. Like so big. Like I credit my love for basketball and how much I love it to you. Growing up playing at McCoy and you crushing me. And
until the day that I didn't anymore. Oh my gosh, what's going on?
But I don't know. Like, if I didn't love basketball so much, we wouldn't be. I don't know if we would be friends. That's what brought us together. The love for the Dallas Mavericks, and now it's deeper than that now. But I don't know. I just really loved that idea. Yeah, that's like, really cool. Oh my gosh, like I don't need to see my dad that passed away. Like, I have had you to like. To show me all these things that I wish I would have had, and he didn't realize he had all those things. That was so powerful for me being the younger brother,
That's when you're watching a Pixar movie.
Exactly. Oh, like 100%. So it was high for me. Like it was 8 funny because Chris Pratt just steals every show. 9 on creative. I think I just kind of was like, I was too excited. And I gave it 9 on the original
I recognize that it has technical flaws. Even in story, it needs more complexity.
I should have given it an 8 or 7. I gave it a 9 just because I was like, this is so good.
I gave it a 6 on original story.
I should have given it a 7. Honestly, if I would redo this, I would give it a 7, and it still would be a 4. It would still be
your gut feeling would
5.
push it higher.
Yeah. But no, but it would actually be maybe like Toy Story 4 would be 4, and then number 5 would have been then onward. Yeah. But
I wonder what the average female feels about this movie.
Yeah.
It's maybe similar to how the
Frozen.
Average middle America, no connection to Hispanic culture person might feel about Coco. It just might not strike a chord at all.
Right. Sure.
And maybe someone who doesn't have a brother or a close relationship with a brother with this movie. It might just be kind of a fun fantasy film, like whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not quite as universal emotionally. But I mean, that's for those who it does impact. It impacts heavily.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah. Trying to think if there's anything else. Did you have anything else on it?
No, I mean, I think that pretty encapsulates it pretty
Wow.
good.
Okay, so here we go. Let's go ahead and recap our list. So, because you have graced us with this system and why we're doing it today, Dylan, you go first. Let's start. Let's start from number 1, or do you want to start from the worst?
All right.
Because I think we all know the worst is Good Dinosaur. So.
So I guess the two I haven't seen, Cars 2 and The Good Dinosaur. And then I guess I would say Cars 3, and then Cars, and then we get to like the actual ones that I consider good. A Bug's Life 18, Brave 17, Monsters University 16, The Incredibles 15, Finding Dory 14, Onward 13, Up 12, Incredibles 2 11, Monsters Inc. 10, Ratatouille 9, Inside Out 8, and at this point we're like all bunched together basically.
Right. Okay.
Inside Out 8, Toy Story 3 7, Toy Story 4 6, Toy Story 1 5, Toy Story 2 4, Wall-E, Finding Nemo, number 1, Coco.
Wow. Yeah. Hey, that's a solid list.
Yeah.
Even though our number ones are pretty different, but I think we're pretty much going along the same lines with a few.
There's a couple outliers. Yeah.
Yeah. So haven't seen Good Dinosaur, Finding Dory, or Cars 3, or Toy Story 4. I know Toy Story 4 especially. That's bad on me.
Might as well just discount your entire list.
Right? Okay.
Like people are gonna stop listening to this.
The movie made over $1 billion.
Oh man. Okay. I don't know. Oh, never mind. Okay. Number 17 is Monsters University. Oh, and I'm going with the system ranking because it's pretty close to my ranking without the system anyway.
Yeah.
So 17, Monsters University. 16, Bug's Life. 15, Cars. 14, Ratatouille. 13 is Incredibles 2. 12 is Brave. 11, Finding Nemo. I know that's like where I differ. 10 is Inside Out. 9, Incredibles. 8, Toy Story. 7, 7 is Coco. 6, Monsters Inc. 5 is Onward. 4, Toy Story 2. 3, Toy Story 3. 2, Wall-E, and Up 1. And again, just in my original, I have definitely 1 and 2 switched.
Yeah.
Do you have the point totals next to your numbers?
Yes.
It's like what's the difference between number 1 and like number 5?
Sure. I have 1 at 47, and I have 5 at 41.
That's a big gap.
Mine's only 44 and 41.
Yeah,
the gaps,
mine's
so.
48 and 45.
Yeah.
My 1 and 2 are pretty high. 1 at 47, 2 at 45.
What was number 1 again? Sorry.
Up.
Up. Okay.
And then 3, Toy Story 3 at 42.
Yeah. So I think like me and you, we differ a lot in the top 10. You know, there's a lot of things like Monsters Inc. is super high for you. It's my number 10 and stuff. And then I feel like from 21 to 11, we're pretty similar.
Right.
And I think we're pretty similar in that too, 21 to 11. And then we there's a couple outliers difference with you even compared to us in the fact that with Finding Nemo with you. And so here, I'll just go with mine. So The Good Dinosaur. I've seen all the Pixar movies. I've seen them all, guys. Come on. Even the bad ones. All right? If you're a fan, you stick all the way through, okay?
Tough it out through the bad.
Tough it out, yeah. So The Good Dinosaur, 21. 20, Cars 3. 19, Brave. So disappointing. 18, Monsters University. 17, A Bug's Life. 16, Cars. 15, Ratatouille. 14, Finding Dory. 13, Incredibles 2. 12, Finding Nemo. 11, Inside Out. 10, Monsters Inc. 9, Toy Story. 8, Toy Story 3. 7, Up. 6, The Incredibles. 5, Toy Story 4. 4, Onward. 3, Toy Story 2. 2, Wall-E. And 1, Coco.
Wow.
So, yeah, and then, like, for me, I had a ton of ties. So, like, Like Coco's 48, and then 2, 3, 4, 5 is all 45. So it's a small gap between those because
I didn't have any over 45. So
really. Wow, I think that's just us like just ranking kind of like in a different place.
Like I hardly gave out 10s.
Yeah, yeah. And
my animation is kind of stuck at 8, so I think that's a little bit inflated.
Yeah.
I took that as like a medium point.
Yeah, I was really like generous on the 10s on certain things, I think. Then like incredible, like 6 through 11, those are all 42s.
Wow.
So The Incredibles up, Toy Story 3, Toy Story Monsters Inc. Inside Out, those were all 42s. But honestly, I think if like gut feeling though, like they would be different. I don't know, because I do think that Incredibles is way better than Inside Out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, sure.
So it's just kind of weird in that sense.
Exactly. Same on points for me. 4 through 7 are all tied on points.
Yeah, yeah. And then like it was like a 40 on Nemo, Finding Nemo, and then like Incredibles 2 and Finding Dory are tied, and then Ratatouille and Cars are tied. And then Bugs Life and Monsters University is tied, and then there's just like a drop off. Like Brave is 34, Cars 32, Good Dinosaur 28.
Yeah.
So.
And one of the biggest differences between us two and Dylan was The Incredibles, for sure. Right?
Yeah, that was huge.
The biggest difference.
That was the yeah.
Like when I heard they were announcing a sequel, I was like, okay, I don't care. Whereas I bet you guys were like pumped.
Yeah, I was so excited.
A little bit let down. I thought it was a solid movie.
It was a letdown.
But it wasn't.
The thing that stand out about those two movies is that, especially the second one, it's just fun, you know.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have the emotional impact, and it doesn't even try to.
True.
Right.
You know, but sometimes that's why we go to the movies. You know, we go to the movies to have fun.
Yeah. No, totally.
There are certainly exceptions, but for the most part,
yeah,
that's why you go to the movies. You get popcorn, you're just sitting there to have a good time, and that's what elevates so many of these other movies to me, because especially like we see kids movies all the time with our kids.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're just there because it's something to do, and plenty of the times that's exactly what it is. You're like, let's just get through these 90 minutes, whatever.
Yeah.
But with Pixar, you have a different expectation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You have an expectation
entertainment for everybody.
to have your heart impacted. You're gonna laugh, and you're gonna see something unique, which we see with a lot of these.
Right.
Yeah, like Toy Story for me is like the biggest, like, really thinker of a movie for me. Toy Story 3.
No, yeah, that's and I don't care how long we go now that we said we're gonna split them up, because we should,
I just won't sleep tonight. No big deal.
All right. No, but I just think that like regardless of all the like, there are some there are bad ones, right? But like I think a theme that we've said, besides maybe The Good Dinosaur is just bad. Even though there are little bit of redeeming qualities, but like for the most part, most of these movies, all these movies, are pretty solid, and that's really that's when you have a really successful movie franchise. When every movie you come out, like you said, there's that expectation that it's going to be excellent. And it's going to be really good.
It's kind of weird when you see everybody knows the burden that they have to produce excellence on every film. And you're like, you didn't have an excellent film this time.
Yeah.
Which is definitely the case.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah.
And the only announced upcoming one they have is Soul.
Right.
Which I'll say is directed by Pete Docter, who other Pixar movies he's directed are Inside Out, Up, and Monsters Inc. So some pressure and high expectations.
That is.
And again, I listen to like movie podcasts sometimes, and they're talking like they expect this to be nominated for like Best Picture or something like that.
It's obviously already done. They've already filmed
it's
it,
done.
Right?
Yeah, it was supposed to come out like 3 or 4 weeks ago originally in June, but it's been pushed back to around Thanksgiving now, which
who
is
knows when? Yeah. Okay.
Typically November is like not only like a high box office time because it's around Thanksgiving and people get together and go to the movies, but you also
more time for it to go to the theaters.
Award movie time is later in the year because it's going to be fresh on their minds.
Oh, that's true.
Whenever it's time to vote for stuff.
I was also thinking just more time for people to then be able to maybe go to the movies.
Yeah,
to the theater.
People are off of school or whatever, and stuff like that.
So,
but yeah, I mean, and with Soul, like one of the writers on it is Tina Fey. So
sure.
That's gonna be interesting. That a comedic mind like that's gonna be contributing to an animated film. So it definitely seems ambitious.
Yeah,
it's a little strange looking, but I'll be there to see it, even if it's June of next year, whenever we get to go to a movie theater safely.
It's been kind of depressing, right? Without our summer box office.
Think of how many times I would have been at the movies in the last 4 months if everything went as planned.
That's kind of crazy to think about, honestly. Well, if you guys don't have anything else to add to this, I will have to say, it's been fun, like going over these. It's awesome. You guys, I want you guys to share this with everybody. Tell them how awesome it is to hear 3 grown men talk about Pixar movies.
Hey, this may be the most in-depth treatment that you've had of,
I know, right?
ranking of Pixar movies.
Hey, if we go like 2 more minutes, we can reach the running time length of Titanic. So let's not break it into 3 episodes.
I know, right?
Leave this one and then just play this on top of Titanic and see how it syncs up.
Oh wow.
Maybe we'll be talking about Coco in the drawing scene. And that'll be great.
Dude.
We should be proud of our 3 minutes and 13.
Oh, that's
or
great.
3 hours and 13
And
minutes.
so right now the old lady's like, oops.
Yeah.
Oops.
Right, yeah.
So awkward.
And we're seeing them go up the staircase together as Celine Dion sings, and we're all just
The Hand.
torn apart. Yeah. Oh, God, The Hand.
Oh, man.
Not family friendly.
Oh, gosh. Guys, if you like what you hear, go check us out. Check out our YouTube channel. Check us out on iTunes, on Google Play, on Spotify, all the above. If you want to listen to us in your car, you can listen to us in the car. If you want to watch us, you can watch us. We don't have everything on video, but we have everything on audio for sure. If you have a question, if you want to send us your comments on what you or maybe even your list of Pixar movies, you can email us at theworldviewbros@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, and Facebook, all the above at the Worldview Bros.
Huge thanks to Dylan for going on this marathon with
Yes,
us.
thank you, Dylan, for joining us, being our very first guest.
It's an honor.
Are you going to be watching? Are you excited for the bubble, Orlando?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh,
I'm more
man,
excited to
NBA
just
basketball.
play this on a loop for the next 3 weeks.
Exactly right.
On my personal time.
And it's not like we can be like with kids, like, oh, listen to this podcast about the movies you watch.
I think this has been a family-friendly podcast.
Yeah,
The
no,
last 3
definitely.
minutes.
Yeah, let's ruin it. Let's all curse a couple times. No, just kidding.
It's been fun.
Yeah,
I'm
thanks for
honored.
having us.
Thanks.
All right, thanks for
Thanks for being inspired by my idea.
Late now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no,
I'm
for
glad
sure.
that I put like a lot of time into it. Not as much as this podcast has gone. But I put some time into that system and everything, and I'm glad that at least somebody paid attention to it.
No,
it was useful for me to kind of force my mind to
Right.
acknowledge certain categories.
Because
absolutely.
Your just like gut instinct would be totally different from what you ended up
Exactly.
coming up with.
Exactly. Well, we hope to have you on future shows. If you're up for it. We've done sports stuff, and we'd love to have you on for sports stuff too, and whatever else, entertainment. We love to do movies. I know it's gonna be weird. We did 18 best movies of 18, best movies of 19. I know you probably would love to maybe even when 2020 comes up, be on that one or something, because you enjoy entertainment like we do.
Yeah, that's gonna be like, nah, dude.
Yeah. So we hope to have you on our show in the future, and thanks for joining us with here and sticking it out. So
Thanks, guys.
Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time here on the Worldview Bros.
All right, see you guys.